Hello and welcome to the FF News series, How to Build a Bank. And on today's episode, we're going to be finding out how you should build a bank with SMEs right at the heart of your proposition. Joining me here today, I've got Kunal Galav from Mambu. Kunal, how are you doing?
Really good, Doug. How are you?
Absolutely amazing. Now, Kunal, we're going to find out, how would you build a bank for small, medium enterprises at its heart?
So to build a bank for SMEs, you have to start with what do they need and how do they operate. SMEs are very different from an end retail customer. SMEs are building their institutions with a lot of challenges. So you need to build a bank which gets the challenges. So their accounting is sorted, their payroll is sorted, their expenses are sorted. So almost banking becomes invisible for them so they can do what they're doing for the communities.
After I caught up with Kunal, I headed back to the FF studio to have chats with nCino and Alico Bank to find out how these organisations were also trying to create the perfect bank for SME customers. First up, we had Ussher-Stanley from nCino. How at nCino would you guys create a bank for SMEs?
It actually has to start at the center from a cultural standpoint insofar as what is my bank actually going to stand for and what am I going to provide.
Interesting. Right? An actual mission.
Exactly. And I think, we can touch on this a bit later about like missions and why they matter so much within financial services as we speak in 2023 as it is now. But I think what we've noticed is, whereas there was always this argument about, oh, should we buy it, should we build it? If we want to build it, how do we build it? If we buy it, who's the best vendor? I think where the winners come out is buying is the right thing to do because it enables you to take things off the shelf and start quickly and get the basic plumbing right to start with.
Yeah.
But then when you start thinking about like, what is the reason that an SME would like to come and bank with me in the first place? What is my differentiating factors? That's where you actually have this ability to actually think about, oh, what could I build on top of what I'm buying? And I think that's an interesting thing because the world of just sort of, oh, I'm just going to buy everything and stand everything up, or the world of, well, I'm going to build everything that's going to cost me a fortune, but I'm going to make this really cool thing. I think there's a hybrid model within that actually. That if you look at the likes of the Recognizers of the world and of the Oak Norths of the world and the ThinkCats of the world, that's very much where they're aiming at, that's how they're differentiating themselves, by using best-in-class technology to support their vision, and then augmenting that with their own technical capability on top of that.
And here's Conrad from Alico Bank.
SME means many things. So I would say there's really two major categories of SMEs. There's micro businesses, which in the UK would be a few million businesses. These would typically be no employees or one or two employees. That's kind of the mass market area. The banking needs of micro businesses are relatively simple, albeit there are some specialist providers that are beginning to get really good at helping them with stuff that relates to financial services like tax management, for example. When you move into the SME, medium-sized businesses, well, they're far less numerous. There's in the UK a few 100,000 of them, but actually it's a much bigger revenue pool and a much bigger segment of the economy. So those few 100,000 businesses are actually a much more important part of the SME segment to society as a whole. Now those businesses are complex and they have a wide range of needs. Some of them trade internationally, they are in very different sectors, which means their banking needs are very different and their financing needs are very different. What they really need is a bank that understands them, is actually willing to get under the skin of what makes their business different from every other business out there.
What are going to be the new demands that SMEs are going to have from their banking partners?
I wouldn't say it'll be new demands, Doug. I think it'll be what demands are unfulfilled and need to be prioritized, given the state of the industry.
Sure.
I think, imagine you're an SME, right? You want your accounts to be in order, your books to be in order. You need your taxes to be filed. You have your employees, so you need your expenses to be automatically managed. You need to have the ability to divide your accounts and set limits so your employees have the flexibility to spend the money and actually make business work. So the demands that will come is, can my bank do all these things for me? And that's where we as Mambu come in, right? We operate on three really simple principles. We've got flexible APIs. What that means is it's easy to integrate with the ecosystem that exists. We are living in a world that there are solutions available for SMEs for all their needs, but they're all disparate. So with Mambu, you can actually get this combined and in one place. Second is, to your point, what are the needs in the future? We don't know. But with Product Factory, you can do the configuration of products which are tailored to SMEs. Imagine you've got an SME who, gets their inventory from China and then sells in the high season. So the peak in cash flow is during April to June, but the outflows on the suppliers are throughout the year. So you can actually create a lending product that matches their cash flow. That's what Product Factory can give you. And if you think third, it's the real-time subledger, which is, you get the insights, you know what SMEs want, what are the problems they're facing. So to answer your question, what would be in the future, I think now is to bring the entire ecosystem together to solve the needs. Second is offer configurability to solve the product's needs really quickly. And third is have the insights so your relationship managers know how to help them even before they ask for help.
That's all we've got time for in today's episode of How to Build a Bank. It's been absolutely brilliant hearing from our guest speakers here today, because building a bank for SMEs is so difficult. They can be sole traders, they can be large companies, and to find that personalization balance is so difficult. So it's been absolutely fascinating hearing from them. I want to say a big thanks to you, our viewers, as well. You can catch the rest of the series and much more over at ffnews.com, of course YouTube, but especially LinkedIn, where you'll see me in the comments. Thank you very much, and goodbye.